What's up, everybody? My name is Maddie Wills. Welcome back to another great episode of Wellbeing Wednesday with Maddie Wills, of course, brought to you by the wonderful people at Metro Health, where each week we talk to a different health expert about a variety of things. And this week we'll be talking to none other than Dr. Sarah Banuska, and we'll be talking about trauma and specifically living with trauma. So before we get into that good stuff, I just want to thank you, Dr. Banuska, for coming on. We know you guys are busy, and we appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So before we get started, I do like to just let our viewers and our listeners know that you are indeed an employee of Metro Health, and we didn't just yank you off the street to do these interviews. So if you could just go ahead, spend a little bit of time just talking about your background, kind of your journey into your position now with Metro, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, well, like a lot of us, I wear a lot of different hats. So I'm a clinician, so I see people for therapy and assessment and stuff like that in integrated care and also out in our behavioral health clinics. I have some training roles. So I'm the associate training director for our psychology residency program, and also have a role in our psychiatry residency program. And I'm the clinical director for our trauma recovery center. So those are some of the things that I spend some time doing. I never really set out to do trauma work. It wasn't something that but it's something that my heart was really pulled into over time, especially as I've, even fallen in love more and more with the population that Metro serves. So it's just something that I feel like is a really important place to be.
Wonderful, wonderful. And as we both just said, we will be talking about trauma today. Before we do get into that, I do want to just kind of give everybody that so important call to action, just in case you have more information that you may need as a viewer or a listener. So you can always learn more at metrohealth.org/behavioral-health-services or call the number 216-778-4428. If you are in a severe mental health crisis or contemplating suicide, please call the mobile crisis team at 988 or go to the nearest emergency room immediately. So with all that said, of course, we'll go over that information again before we wrap, and you can find it down in the caption. But with all that said, Dr. Banuska, let's get right into it. So we hear the word trauma, right? And it's, there are a lot of buzzwords going around these days. But if you can explain what exactly is trauma and what can we do about it?
Well, when we think about trauma, there's a clinical definition of trauma that can be fairly limited, but more and more we're learning that trauma and traumatic stress is something that a person can go through. It can be one event, it can be a series of events, it can be a bunch of different circumstances where somebody feels physically, emotionally threatened or harmed or in danger of being harmed in some type of way. It usually involves some sort of threat to somebody's safety. And the hard part about it is traumatic stress can have some really important long-term implications for somebody's well-being. Of course, mental health issues can be worse by experiences with traumatic stress, but lots of physical health issues can also be a part of it.
So then what would you say, or how would you define how much at risk minority communities are to trauma?
Yeah, that's such a good question, Maddie. I think, unfortunately, we live in a country where racism and discrimination and marginalization of a lot of different groups, certainly our Black and brown siblings, and even our queer or our transgender folks, in addition to others, right, are not supported in the same way as other folks are. And that overall makes them more sort of susceptible to all kinds of experiences, including things like community violence and racial discrimination, which can add to the accumulation within somebody's sort of system, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, of what can happen when someone's been experiencing stress or traumatic stress, especially over repeated times. So that can make it really complicated. One of the other things that's tricky is that we know that that Black and brown folks don't engage in treatment in the same way, like kind of at the same rates. And there are lots of really good reasons for that, in terms of the experiences that a lot of people have had historically with the medical system. But it just sort of adds to some of this, right? It adds to some of these issues.
Yeah, one of the, not to sway too far off topic, but one of the reasons I love Metro, one of the reasons I love this partnership is because you all, the people you work with, you guys seek out where those kind of inefficiencies are in the Black and brown community in terms of all sorts of health related things, right? So it made it easy to want to even connect with you guys on this basis, because I know that your hearts are in the right place. And it is a struggle. My best friend, I'm 40. My best friends are 40 and they look like me, and half of them I can't even get to go to the doctor still. So, we do these interviews and we have those conversations to hopefully encourage people to go and get some of that preventative health treatment. So we'll get you out of here with this. What mental health services does Metro Health provide to help people deal with trauma in a healthy way?
Well, in addition to your own healing practices that you might do, which are so important, I also just want to point out that, of course, we have outpatient behavioral health services. So you can just, the number that you said earlier in the beginning, 216-778-4428 is the number to get to that. Of course, if somebody is experiencing a crisis, they want to call 988, and really get that level of care where they're needing it. The Trauma Recovery Center is also a really excellent resource at Metro. It's trc@metrohealth.org or 778-8199. And of course, primary care is an excellent way to get sort of that whole person care. So that's, I think it's 216-MY-METRO. 696-3876 is the number I got.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Banuska, for that. All that information is perfect. We do like to give you guys just, another second or two. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure you get out into the universe, or just anything else that you'd like to offer?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is that everybody has their own healing journey, right? And of course, at Metro Health, we are more than willing to help folks be a part of that journey. So please reach out if you have any questions about any of the things that we talked about today.
Got it. And of course, we've listed those phone numbers. They'll be down, or they are down in the caption as well. So if you need to reach anybody at Metro Health, you have that information. And then again, if this information is perfect for any of your loved ones or friends, please pass this video along to them. Share it. Let's keep it going. And then, we'll all keep moving forward. So thanks again for taking some time out of your day, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, Maddie.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.